Hey friends, I wanted to come on here and do a quick video about what you can expect on a 10-day Vipassana meditation course. I just finished my second one last month. There's some information about the Vipassana 10-day course on the internet. A new meditator can sometimes still be left a little confused as to what to expect. Well, first off, you don't bring very much to the meditation center. This was probably the hardest thing for me. These 10 days are supposed to be solely focused on meditation, so you are not supposed to bring anything that will distract you. The obvious one is your cell phone. Your cell phone, if you choose to bring it to the center, will be collected and held for you in a secure location, and you can pick it up when the 10 days are over. This also means no reading material, no writing material, no handiwork things, art things. Basically, you bring nothing to fill your time. And there's honestly not a lot of time to fill anyhow, because you will be meditating anywhere from about 6 to 10 hours a day. And then you have your meals. And you will have some break periods, but you're not supposed to fill those break periods with things that distract you or busy things. So don't bring anything to the center except your toiletries, your clothing, and some centers may require some bedding. Okay, so yeah, I said you'd be meditating anywhere from 6 to 10 hours a day, and that is very accurate. You will be in a meditation hall with about 100 other meditators. The center does provide cushions and support foams, pillows, blankets, meditation shawls, things of that nature. So unless you have things that you're already comfortable with and comfortable using, you really don't need to bring any of those things. Most meditation centers do provide those things. However, in my experience, you will want to lay dibs on those cushions. They have some kneeling stools. You will want to pick those up quickly on day one, maybe early day two, because they do go really fast as people start trying to configure ways in which to get comfortable, and they start adding more pillows and more foam supports, things like that. You'll want to grab the things that you'll think you'll need in it as soon as you can. That being said, most of the meditators do meditate in a seated position, either cross-legged. Some use meditation stools, some use pillows or foam supports and sit kind of in a frog style, but it can take a toll on the body. If you know, based on knowing your body, that you're going to need some support, when you apply or even after you apply, you can email them and ask for a chair, a wall, or a cushion with a back support. They may be able to accommodate you in this request. If possible, I would do that before you even got to the center, if you know that you're going to need that support. If you're not sure if you can sit for 10 days in a seated or kneeling position, I say give it a try, and you can adjust as the course goes on. Your first night there, after signing in and getting your things to your room, there will likely be a little briefing period in which they describe more information about the course and what will happen in the next 10 days. Typically, after that briefing period, noble silence begins. Noble silence meaning not only is there no talking, there's no communication whatsoever. So you'll want to avoid all eye contact, all physical touch, even gestures. If you have a problem or a need that arises, you can approach the course assistant and you can ask them or tell them what your need is. There's also a designated period around after lunchtime when the assistant teacher is available for questions on the technique or answering things that you may find you have problems with or you need. Typically during breakfast, they have a sign up for these meetings, and you can sign up to meet with the assistant teacher. Noble silence is kind of hard to get used to the first couple days, especially because you don't know anything about these people that you're meditating with, or even your roommate. Most centers are double occupancy, and so you most likely will have a roommate, and it's It's strange to get used to not communicating with the people around you. But, right around day 2, it starts to fall into place. And me and other meditators actually find it quite enjoyable. You kind of just go into your own little bubble. And that's sort of the point. They want you during this 10 days to focus on yourself and your meditation practice and not to be distracted or influenced by any of the other meditators. The courses are led by Mr. Guenka through video discourses and through audible discourses during your meditation session. There is also some chanting involved. And Mr. Guenka, he's this adorable, very charismatic man, and you just get to the point where you enjoy him. However, some meditators, me included, are kind of have a hard time getting used to his voice and to his accent. The chanting for me was particularly difficult to get used to. And I'll tell you that at first, his voice during chanting sort of resembled that of like a dying goat. And of course, now that I've said that, when you hear his chanting, you won't be able to get that image out of your brain. But after a few days, his voice really does start to grow on you and start to become very calming. But it can take a few days to get used to the way he talks during his discourses. So, the next thing I wanted to talk about was food. You are not allowed to bring any of your own food to the center. All meals are served communal style, kind of cafeteria buffet kind of style. They're very simple meals. They are also vegetarian. Breakfast served oatmeal, sometimes reconstituted dried fruit. There was always a side table with different sorts of breads that you could use to toast and jam and butter. And they usually always had plain Greek yogurt and raisins, stuff like that. Lunch is typically a menu item. Sometimes it could be a curry. They're really big on stews and chilies, tofu. There one night there was tacos. It's a pretty simple meal. There's usually always a salad and different things that you can put on your salads. And there's usually always yogurt and cottage cheese available at lunch also. Dinner is not really a dinner, so don't be surprised. It's usually what they call kind of a tea time. Mostly just fruit and then tea or coffee. And that's for your first year meditators. Once you take your first 10-day course, and if you choose to go back, you're considered an old student. And as an old student, you will not participate in tea time also. You can have tea or black coffee, but nothing in your coffee or tea and no food. So that brings me to the next area I wanted to talk about. You will be, Mr. Guenka teaches through video and through audio, and there will be 2 assistant teachers, a male and a female. There will also be servers, and these are old students who have volunteered their time to come back and cook for you and clean and do those things the normal chores, so you don't have to do them, so that you can solely focus on your meditation practice and you won't have to worry about preparing your food, washing your dishes, things like that. So the servers are old students who have come back to serve. There's also a course director, and this will be the main person who you will contact or communicate with if you have problems. And they serve to serve you and to make your 10-day course as easy and comfortable as they can. So you'll hear people referring to new students and old students. New students are attending their first 10-day course, and older students are those who have come back to serve another course after having first attended a 10-day course. Your servers may be the same throughout your 10-day course, but they also may change and switch up. As old students, you're encouraged to serve in following courses, and some can serve for a full 10 days, whereas others can only serve for a day, 2, or 3. And so sometimes your servers will switch up. So, mentioning that your assistant teachers, you will have one male, you will have one female. Males and females are separated for the entire 10 days. You will be housed in different residence facilities, usually on different parts of the campus, and your dining halls are separated. We do meditate together. However, males are on one side and females are on the other. Now, if you are a person who doesn't really put yourself into a female or a male category, most course centers are very adaptable to this. In your application, you'll just communicate with them and let them know whether you identify as male or female. And they're usually really good about working with you on this. Around day 4, you may be offered a meditation cell. I know the word cell. And actually, it kind of does remind one of a little prison cell. Usually, it's a brick cemented closet. And at first, it can be very intimidating and kind of put you off a bit. But most meditators that I have spoken with, and me included, find that after a bit, these meditation cells become very comfortable. You can meditate in privacy, so you're not worried about disrupting other meditators should you cough or should you sneeze or should you have to move and stretch your legs out or move into a different position. They're also usually pretty silent. They're pretty soundproof. So you're not being distracted by other sounds that may occur or by other meditators who are sneezing or coughing or sniffling. So the meditation cells can be intimidating at first, but you'll likely get used to it and you may even find you enjoy it. We do all meditate together. And, noises are going to happen. People are going to fart. They're going to sneeze. They're going to cough. They're going to clear their throat. They may fall off their meditation bench. It's best practice to try to avoid all of these things during your meditation practice and not to let it enter your little bubble. However, it does happen. So if you find that you're the one sneezing, coughing, farting, whatever, don't be too worried about it. Don't be too self-conscious of it. It happens to all of us, and most people are very gracious at accepting any sounds that your body may feel it needs to produce during a meditation hour. Most sittings are 1 hour. None are fewer, but some are more. You may go to sit for an hour and find yourself surprised when after the hour you're not released. Sometimes the assistant teachers will call you up in groups and ask you questions about your meditation practice and how it's progressing, and if you have any questions regarding what they have recently taught. Other times you'll hear Mr. Gwenka's voice come in and he will begin teaching a new level of the technique. So sometimes you'll be sitting for longer than an hour. Now, just to give you a heads up, the first 3 days, you'll be working on what they call Anapana meditation. And this is just a meditation that's focused on the awareness of your breath. Yes, they spend 3 days with you learning how to focus on your own breath. Day 4, they introduce Vipassana meditation. And this can kind of throw some people off because along with Vipassana meditation come your sittings of strong determination or your Dhatana sittings. These are sittings where you're highly encouraged to sit for the entire hour without moving anything. You don't open your eyes, you don't change positions, you don't move your hands, you don't stretch out your legs. You sit for 1 hour in a stoic position as best as you are able. The goal is to try to maintain the strong determination for the entire hour. If you find that this is not possible, very slight, very slow, quiet movements are accepted, but the next meditation, you're kind of encouraged to last a little longer than you did the first sitting. So if your first Aditana sitting, you change positions twice, or you open your eyes once, your next sitting of strong determination, you'll try to lessen that amount. So you'll try to only move once and not open your eyes at all, with the goal of being able to sit for a full hour with the strong determination. All of your sittings from day 4 on will be Aditana sittings. They will be sittings of strong determination. So prepare yourself mentally for this, because it can hit hard after you've had 3 days of sitting on a cushion. Your back feels it, your knees feel it. Um, it's uncomfortable. This They call this the boot camp of meditation, and it does take a toll. It takes a toll on your body, it takes a toll on your mind, it takes a toll on your emotions. Genka says that most first time meditators kind of start to lose it on either day 2 or day 6. For me, I found it was day 3 and day 7. But you can expect somewhere between 2 to 7 to have one of those days when you want to quit, when you just want to leave and go home. And I have tried to go home. And the assistant teacher has reminded me that I did sign up to stay the full 10 days. And once you stay the full 10 days, most meditators will be really glad that they did, because they'll have benefited from it. So be prepared to stay the entire course. There's kind of no backing out of it if you're uncomfortable. You may also find that you're extremely emotional. Once you take away the distractions of our everyday lives, our phones, our books, our busyness, our bills, our spouses, our children, whatever it is, you find you're left with nothing but you, yourself, and your thoughts. And for a lot of people, this can get to be really distressing. So my advice is to sit through it. Just sit in it, accept it, and know that it's not going to last forever. You're going to hear this a lot during your 10-day course. This will also change. Nothing lasts forever. Everything is impermeable. Everything is in a flux. Everything will change. These will become very familiar statements to you. So hang in there. Your 10 days will be worth it. They do have a schedule that they will provide for you, and most of your days are very scheduled, especially your group sittings. You're expected to be in the hall at least 10 to 5 minutes before each group sitting starts, so that you can get comfortable and get in a good position for the next hour. You're also encouraged to not leave the meditation hall during these hour group sittings. If you should choose to leave, expect to have the course manager chasing after you to find out what's wrong. Finally, on the morning of day 10, after you have successfully stayed the entire course and done your best to improve your meditation practice, after the afternoon group sitting, noble silence is usually lifted, and this will be your chance and your opportunity to finally talk to all the other meditators that you've been silently observing all week long. It's a great feeling of relief, and you feel a certain camaraderie with these other meditators who now you get to talk to and learn that they have names and they have stories and families of your own. This is a time that I always really, really enjoy. And it's sort of a celebration of your success during this 10 days. It's also a way of introducing you back into your normal life a little slowly. So here you've had 10 days of complete silence, not interacting with anyone else. And if you were to go from those 10 days of nothing right back into your home life, it's a 0 to 60 really quick. So they've kind of inserted this day 10 as your midway point, where you sort of get used to hearing the sounds of people talking and interacting again. And it kind of lets you adjust a little easier. Okay, now I'm going to talk about some of the things I've heard about the Vipassana meditation and the 10-day course. First of all, yes, the course is absolutely free. They house you, they feed you, they attend to your needs for 10 straight days, and payment is not required. And I would even go so far as to say it's not expected. They do encourage you, once the 10-day course is done, to serve, to pay forward what you have gained from those 10 days, and to serve the students who will be coming after you. So, their biggest request is that you come back and you serve in some capacity. You can serve as a server, you can serve on a board, you can, be in charge of one of the email groups. You can come back and serve between course periods. You can work on cleaning and maintaining and getting everything ready for the next 10-day course that is about to begin. Most centers have cleaning days, they have work days. You can come back and serve in that capacity. Whatever skills, talents, or passions that you have, Vipassana centers can use them, and they request that you pay back, you pay forward to students who are going to take a course after you in this manner. There is a way to pay financially after the course, but they're not going to hound you about it. You don't get an email saying, hey, remember you took this course, and if you really liked it, please pay us. There's none of those gimmicks. In fact, if you choose after your first 10-day course to have nothing to do with Vipassana again, they won't contact you. They're not going to mail you things. You can ask to be taken off the old student email list. They're not going to come chasing after you. So yes, the courses are free. They just request that if you gain something from the course, that you pay it forward in some way. It can be monetary, but it doesn't have to be. There's no way to prepay. They won't even let you give a financial donation until after the 10-day course is finished, which I actually think is very remarkable in this day and age. Okay, I've also heard some people discuss Vipassana as a cult. And even my husband has been known to call it my cult. I don't see it as a cult. Number one, with the financial, they're not asking you for money. They're not asking you to sign over all your assets or to donate your life to them. Like I said, they won't contact you after you leave if you don't want them to. So there's no obligation to stay. Or if you leave, if you stop doing Vipassana, you're a bad person or you'll go to hell, or whatever consequence that cults usually make up if you're not loyal to their cult. So there's no financial gain. They don't request loyalty. They do hope that you continue Vipassana throughout your life as a meditation practice that benefits you and all of those around you, really. But they don't demand a loyalty to the Vipassana meditation. Also, there's not a living leader, kind of like a cult leader. There's not a living leader that runs Vipassana as a figurehead. Gwinka is the teacher that teaches the discourses through video, although he died in the early 2000s. And honestly, I don't, there's no one that's taken his place since then. And even then, he was a teacher. He wasn't a cult guru. He didn't take money. He didn't take favors. He taught. He taught because he felt that was what he was called to do. So I don't see it as a cult in that manner also. There's no figurehead. There's no guru that you're worshiping or paying loyalty to or that you have to respect. So those three things for me helped me decide for myself that Vipassana wasn't a cult. Also, it's not religious. It doesn't conform to any one religion or one religious style. It is a meditation that was passed down from Buddha, but it's not to be confused with the Buddhist religion. You won't be asked to pray. You won't be asked to have a mantra of a God's name that you repeat over and over. You won't be asked to have loyalty to one God or to another or to worship anyone or anything. There's no statues um, that you worship or idolize. And there's no one you're supposed to maintain loyalty to. So I I would say it's very non-denominational. Um, if you're no matter where you fall on the religious spectrum, I think you can feel comfortable with a Vipassana meditation. And if you find that you don't, I encourage you to speak with the assistant teacher. Um, they've probably seen and heard a lot, and I'm sure they would be able to clarify or help answer your questions in that manner. In the beginning, there is a bit of recitation and that they will ask you to repeat after them. And mostly it's like, Buddha, please teach me how to meditate. I don't know the exact words, but it is something to that effect. Your group sittings will always end with the same chant, and you will see the old student and the servers responding um, with a chant of their own, and then some meditators will bow. This this is kind of a sign of respect and gratefulness, um, almost like in yoga when you bring the hands to heart center, say namaste. Pretty much the same thing. You're not required to do it. You're not asked to do it. In fact, I don't even think he talks about it until day 2 or 3. So you'll see other students and the servers having a chant at the end of the meditations and possibly bowing. Not something you have to do or you're obligated to do, or really you're even expected to do. All right, so I think I have talked about everything I can think of about the 10-day Vipassana meditation course. If I forgot something that you're curious about, throw it in the comments and I'll check those out and see if I can answer other questions that you may have. I do. I I know Vipassana has made a difference in my life, in my paradigms, in the way that I'm thinking and the way that I'm reacting to things. And I do think that everyone could benefit from Vipassana. But, it's kind of a you do you thing. Um, if you don't, awesome. But you should try it. You should sign up. You really have nothing to lose. They're not going to take your money after those 10 days. They're not going to take your time. Um, yeah, you really don't have anything to lose. So if you're curious about it, I really suggest that you give it a try. And if you've taken a course, list in the comments what you think I may have missed in telling other people, or what you thought about your 10-day course, and how your meditation practice has continued. All right, friends, I have talked for long enough. I do hope you found this information beneficial to you and that it may have cleared up some questions you have. Enjoy your 10-day course, friends.